let's start with this one. Angel Hernandez has now officially retired and has umped his final game in Major League Baseball. So, again, talking about something where a profession kind of defines a person, right? I've heard a lot of good stories about Angel doing things off the field. On the field, he doesn't have that reputation.
No, you know, like we said, what he does off the field, that's awesome. Speaking specifically about the umpire, Angel Hernandez, don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Well, he was certainly on the field. I'll tell you that.
He was. I love that description. He was on the field.
When he was on the field, he was on the field.
And there's certain umpires, and you know, there's the Laz Diaz's out there, obviously the CB Buckners. If fan bases know you by name, like umpires, same with like refereeing and stuff. If they don't really know you, that's probably a good thing. That means you're kind of staying. Angel Hernandez was unfortunately known very, very well by every fan base because most of the time there were things that people didn't like, calls he made that people didn't agree with. And that's kind of how he, over the years, became controversial, as they said. I thought that was hilarious. In every tweet by like Jeff Passan, Bob Nightingale, all of them, they all referred to him as they're like the controversial career of Angel Hernandez. It was always the controversial, you know, something like that. So it's interesting. It's what you expect. People are celebrating.
And it's interesting the timing of it all too, right? Like Brad kind of looking at it, it's like, hey, you're retiring mid-season. So it almost makes you feel like, was this kind of talked about too? Where it's like, hey, pressure's on here, or were you ready to really step away? Because usually when you make a commitment during it, Brad, for a season, like, hey, I'm committed. But maybe this was something that it was just the best for both parties. Does that make sense, Brad?
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I mean, like Angel Hernandez has been terrible for a very long time, and if there's anybody else like doing a regular job, he would have been fired a long time ago. But to my understanding, it probably had a lot to do with the unions and that sort of thing. So you almost got to wonder if it actually was Angel Hernandez that just said, you know what, I'm just going to hang it up, or maybe he's got health problems. Hopefully, he doesn't have the latter, but you never know. I will say this: that baseball is now the better for it. That Angel Hernandez is no longer working in the MLB.
And even like last year,
he was great for baseball.
Yeah, and I think what people forget is like last year, he was umping in the minors for a while. Like there was for the first half of last year, he was umping pretty much solely the minor leagues. I don't think he umped his first MLB game. I'm not sure if that was helpful.
I think it was he was rehabbing. Like they go on rehab assignments, but he was down there.
Wait, do umpires actually
go on rehab assignments? Yeah. When they get like a concussion or something happens, guys would go down there.
I was thinking like he's got a broken wrist, and they're like, yeah, he's got to go to AA for a game, and then I was like, oh wow, I didn't know they were like that serious. But okay, like a concussion or something, that does make sense.
So that I mean, there's a lot of different reasons if they're trying to get their like footing back, right? But this is the thing that you made a great point here. You don't want to be remembered. You don't want your name to be remembered because of a controversial call, of something that goes wrong. As an umpire, it is a job with no glory. You want to just do your job and that be that. But that's the problem right now. You know what's funny, though? Umpiring is still way better than it was 2 decades ago. I urge you guys, we're going to get a video up on that because I always laugh my ass off. I watched this at bat of Brady Anderson recently, and Brady got called out on strike 3. The ball is 8 or is like a good 2 feet in the other batter's box, and the catcher doesn't even bring it back. It's like, oh, strike 3, and Brady's like, you got to be shitting me. You know, so it's things are more magnified now, but because it's more magnified, you expect better results. And for Angel, he has always been, it's not that, oh, Angel, hey, you got this right. It's Angel, you got this wrong in a crucial time. And that is the biggest part. You don't want the umpires to impact the game in that way.
And you talked about, you know, his name not necessarily being known for the best reasons. And it's kind of like what I've alluded to with you'd rather them not know your name. Do you think Jim Joyce would rather no one know who Jim Joyce is?
Yeah, but you know what? I felt bad for Jim because like he was genuinely it crushed him.
Well, no, so that's what I'm saying. I'm like, these guys who will have these great careers, Jim Joyce was excellent umpire. Like he was one of the top guys. But the Armando Galarraga, no perfect game. You know, that call is all people remember Jim Joyce from. And it's sort of the same with Angel Hernandez. Obviously, a lot more, you know, small calls here and there of just blatant balls being called strikes, you know, and the other way around. But it is crazy. Like one bad call for an umpire, like massively bad call, can ruin your perception of the league forever.
So two things also right here. Steven said that Hernandez had a back injury in 2023, so that could be the reason. But again, when they're injured and they're having to rehab games, the other thing I wanted to point out here, right, Mario Power, Baseball Doesn't Exist, made an excellent video on how Angel and umpires are getting better. And that's true. Like, that's the point. They are getting better, but we're in a day and age where you can look at every damn call. And I mean every single call, and it's magnified. Now the thing is, you're going to make errors. How do you make the least amount of errors? And I think the other part of it too is, I think, is understanding the players need to have respect for it, but then the umpires also need to. That was my biggest thing is, hey, if I'm going to be respectful to you, don't try to say, oh, you're being a player getting mad. I'm like, yeah, if you messed up a call, I'm going to let you know. But don't get mad that I'm calling you out. Then you got to go back and watch the replay. I will go back and say, and I've done this before when I was in the minors, and be like, hey, man, Tom, I did not say that to. Tom, he messed up, and he deserved to know that he messed up from me. But another guy like John, I'm like, I got pissed at John, then went back in next game. He was at first base then. And I'm like, hey, John, my bad. I effed up. That's on me. Good call. Sorry. Like, I will go back and say it. Not necessarily umpires are going to do that, being like, hey, my bad on that. Some of them do. Not a lot will. So keep that in mind. Angel Hernandez, though, he's done with Major League Baseball. He's moving on. He's retired. And that is